Hello and welcome to all you Scorpios. This is your monthly horoscope for May of 2020. For all the Scorpios of the world, I hope you are well, I hope you are safe, I hope you are healthy in these really surrealistic times here. But let's have a look what the energies are and what we can see from the universe and the astrology, where to focus on, to make the best out of all of this. Now, for Scorpio, it's a Scorpionic month. It's a very kind of Scorpionic month during the month of May. I don't want to make these videos too long and just focus on what I think is mostly important. And I'm going to talk about the Venus retrograde in your 8th house in Gemini, squaring up to Neptune. And I'm also going to talk about the North Node shifting into Gemini. Let's start with that. The North Node is where we need to focus on, and it stays like approximately 1.5 years in the same sign. So at the beginning of the month, around the 5th, the 6th of May, this North Node is shifting into your 8th house of Gemini. So that is a very Scorpionic kind of energy. Although it is in Gemini, it's in the 8th house. And that's your house. That's the house of the Scorpio. The North Node shifting there, it will stay there for not only in May, but for the rest of the year and even in 2021. What does it mean? For the Scorpio, it means that the North Node is where we need to focus on to grow the fastest. So you need to focus on 8th house stuff, on the stuff that you are interested in, which is the occult, which is transformation, which is life and death and rebirth, which is fears and conquering them and getting out stronger than you've been before. So it's going to be more of a Scorpionic period for you for sure. So not only in May, but also for the rest of the year. And that heightens the intensity. When the North Node shifts into the 8th house, for most people, it's not that easy because the intensity heightens up. And if there is one sign who can deal quite well with intensity, it's you, the Scorpio, because you know that through the intensity, there is the transformation. There is no transformation without first the intensity, the passionate energy, but also almost on an obsessive level, so to speak. So in order that you can transform. And so it will, these are general horoscopes, of course, but for a lot of you, this will have to do with fears that you conquer, and on a psychological level, that is. So on the deep psychological level, this is about deeper layers that you know about yourself, that through some crisis, little or big, that you see and that you have to go through. So that you can transform it, basically. Now, this can be, as there is a new moon as well around the 22nd, observe what's happening around that time, because the new moon can indicate this new start of this, what's going on with the nodes there in your 8th house. On another more mundane level, it's also a financial house. So there could be some changes coming up on a financial level, and in particular the finances that you share with other people. So that maybe investments, or it's not the money that you earn from what you do for a living. It's the money that you get out of pension fund or taxes or loans, etc., etc. So there could be some changes happening there as well. On another level, and that is more again on the psychological level, there is this huge potential for growth, this huge potential for growth and strength and empowerment, because that's ultimately what the North Node in the 8th house wants. But mostly it starts with some little crises there going on, or things that are really out of your control. And if there is one thing that Scorpios really don't like, it's like losing the control. And we know that certainly these days that we are not in control that much. And but it is going through that stage of that process of that letting go that you find your strength. So I know this is all quite a bit abstract there, but I mean, I'm talking to a lot of Scorpios out there. Now, on the other hand, Venus is there as well. So for a lot of you, this will have to do with love and with values of other people. Venus goes retrograde around and about the midst of the month, the 14th of the month, and stays retrograde up until the end of June. So you've got time here between the midst of May and the end of June to reassess something that has to do with love or money. And that has to do with 8th house stuff. So for some of you, this has to do with investments. And so for those of you who invest, who have done investments, who share money with spouses or with business partners, and there is some shift there, there could come a bit of a crisis there. But know that when Venus goes direct again, which is at the end of June, there are already improvements there. So if you reassess this and reevaluate this, you can be in a situation that's even better than before that, okay? So this is important, especially when a lot of people will come into questions of their finances and how and whatnot. But for you, it's a good time to reevaluate, to make changes there with some, maybe with funds, pension funds or investments or whatnot, but it's a good time to implement the changes after the end of June. So now is the time to figure it out and to have a look at what you can do or what you cannot do. Some of you, it will have to do with inheritances as well. Venus is attracting money from other people. So some of you could get inheritances. Some of you could have insurances that... But again, there is this positivity coming towards the end of June and things go more fluently. Before that, it's really a reassessing time more. Now, on a love level, this could mean the 8th house is a very hidden house. So when Venus is in the 8th, it is quite often that love is behind the scenes, so to speak. Hidden love, love that is not, or love that is not possible to express itself. And especially because Venus is squaring Neptune in the 5th house of the house of the heart, so to speak. So some of you, if you're dealing with love that cannot be expressed and all of that, there is some unclarity there for sure. And I would say with this Neptune there, don't expect too much. Don't expect... try to stay realistic, but the thing is, it won't be very easy for you to stay always very realistic. But when you are single, for instance, and you're falling for someone where, you know, this person is already in a marriage, or maybe you are in a marriage and you're falling for someone, but you know, you're still in a relationship, there's a lot of energy here that you have to be sure that you're not fooling yourself here in this situation. You know, the grass is always greener is a very Neptunian kind of aspect here. But these things will clear up at the end of July. Okay, so when you are just about to meet someone, and yes, it could all be very deep and intense and very intimate and whatnot, but there is a factor of insecurity here that has to do with expectations. So when you are in a relationship, it can mean that there is a possibility, an opportunity to have more intimacy. And with intimacy, I mean to show who you are. I mean body, mind and soul. And also to show your shadows. And that's not an easy thing, right? Because sometimes we risk the relationship when we do that. You know, when we show our shadow to our loved one, there is always this risk of, will they be able to deal with it or not? So something like that can happen as well. You see how deep this month is for you Scorpios. I think you're gonna love it, basically. But there is this huge transformation energy going on for you, and that is huge and very, very transformative at the same time. So when you are in a relationship, There is a possibility of getting more intimacy, of transforming the relationship. At its worst, it's the end of a relationship, but that's only when, you know, for a long time there is lots more, you know, not good things going on for you. This is not something that comes out of the blue. That's what I'm trying to say here. And when it comes to work, I don't see any emphasis here, but definitely a lot of you people will have changes in the work level as well. But what I do see is that you're also, around the midst of the month, you're going to have Mars in your 5th house. So whatever it is that has to deal with work, follow your heart and follow what you can do to use the best of your abilities to make those changes. I think when people are, and you are already a very authentic sign, you're one of the most authentic signs actually. And so I think you will do well when it comes to that. Again, when it comes to work, there could be some changes going on there, but that is when Venus goes direct again at the end of June. Having said that, thank you so much for watching. All the best to you. And if you want a reading, just get in touch. Bye-bye.